A thing we like to say a lot is that you're the expert in your own child. And I think another thing sort of related to our previous conversation about how diverse we are between groups and within groups is really trying to bring the child's whole identity into the classroom, what they like, what their temperament's like, as well as sort of the cultural stuff to sort of try to safeguard teachers from in this moment only thinking of your kid as their race, right? I think is important. Jonathan, would you add to that, to what you've seen in Head Start classrooms, or what you
Mhm.
would
Yeah,
how
I think, yeah, I think all those things that Sadiqa talked about, you know, we in Head Start are, that's how we are in terms of just integral to who we were in terms of programming, of making sure that if you have a dual language classroom, that there's sight words, that there's shared experiences, that like you talked about, Melissa, the early education settings are always very good about engaging around what does my family look like. The other thing that before we all kicked this off, Andrew and I talked about was the idea that Head Start used to we grow our own, what we call grow our own, which we would recruit parents to become teachers aides, and if they stay with us long enough, sometimes they even turn into teachers and you know work their way through the program, and so we're very proud of that as a history of being Head Start parents and engaging in the program. And as a Head Start dad, I will tell you that I learned so much from other parents during those opportunities of sharing storybooks from different racial groups who were part of our classroom, refugee families, you name it. And it was shared in family, family style dining, which was you get around the table with the little ones and you share a meal or whatever it is, and all those opportunities to live and taste and talk about race, of your classmates, and for little ones to embrace that is very uh, life altering, because what we're doing for brain development, right, is all those little things firing up in the brain of brain connections around language, and if they're tactile learners, if if they're auditory learners, as they taste things, it really changes how children will remember those things growing up. And I think that for teachers, if they want to have the authentic opportunity to engage around race, is to be vulnerable in a way um, that is going to open you up. And it's dangerous to tell a teacher that, right? And especially not so much early childhood, because they're little, the little ones, but as they age into first, second, third grade and later developmental years of early childhood, um, that's when it can really become more challenging for teachers to become vulnerable and to really open up to parents and to their students to bring those things into the classroom. And then also, uh, you want to arm those teachers with support. I always tell parents, sometimes administrators don't always, there's politics at the local level related to race right now. You all alluded to that. And I think that here in Arizona, we saw it play out in the teaching of Chicano studies at some of our high schools, and which has been banned. There was legislation around it. So even understanding your own cultural roots of the Southwest here in Arizona has now been put into legislation and banned. So I think that the more that we can do to counter that and supporting teachers who want to pursue conversations around race, integrate storytelling, literature, any of those kinds of components into the classroom. I always tell parents, please show up for those teachers willing to be vulnerable on behalf of their students and all of you, and just be there to support them, because they may not always have the support of their principal or their superintendent. So.